Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, we have successfully worked with our media file. That means right now if you log in with the admin and they have one of our table as a about table, and into the about table here I insert some of the title, they have some of the description, and also there is images, right? And also here we successfully updated our media link. So now we can actually display every data. That means we can now display the title, description, the images in our Frontend area. So here how can display that all that title, description and the images in our Frontend area. In this video I will show you that things with a live example. So for doing this, first of all, as I told you how this index page actually loaded. So here, first of all, you can see there is actually our home directory. So I think you remembered that part. Better I just simply remove everything from here again. Okay, I just simply remove it. So that is our portfolio. That is a portfolio. Perfect. That means in our main portfolio area, if you go to that our URL. So that is actually friend main basic structure that you should know very clearly. So that is our home path. Into the home path area I include our index URL. That means that is our project, right? So that is our project index and that is our project index URL. So here that is our home path. For the home path I simply loaded in our views of our home one of the function, right? That means into the view here I have already imported that view. That means in our same index page, and that is our view. And here you can see that is our home function. So into the home function area, I just simply return render request our HTML. That means our index HTML. So now this index HTML is now loaded, right? So here I want to actually get this data from our database table, and also here I want to pass it and visible it on here. So for the reasons here we have to work in this method. That means this function area, right? Because here I want to visible it. So if you want to visible it, first of all I have to get all that our data, right? So I have to get all the data in our index. Into the index, that is our model. So into the model area I have created our table. That means our table name I have added as a about, right? So from to this table I want to actually get our title, description and the images. So here if you want to get this data, first of all here you have to actually import it. Okay, that means right now we don't need this. That means in our view, in our index and into the view area, first of all we have to import this model file. That means models file. So I just simply added as a from, and from that will be in our same directory, right? So for the reasons here I make it as a dot and then our models. So from these models I want to get this class. That means the about class. So now I just simply import this about class, right friend? So now into this about area I have already all that our fields. So now I want to actually get all the data from this table. That means that is actually our about table, right? So into the about us tab, that is the about table here they have some of the data I want to get it. So if you want to get this data, you have to get it by the object. Like I show you, like if you go to our about, so previously there have the about, I show you, like if you go to that model, into the model area I just simply added one of the styled math with the self. I just display the title, right? But right now if you delete it, click as a save all. So here every data actually save on by the object. If you now refresh it, now you can see that is actually showing the object. That means this object data I want to visible, right? So for the reasons here we have to do that work. So right now I just same things added. That means our start and the self return our title, and refresh it. Now you can see it's now showing as a title. That means every data we have to get it by the object. So for now in our view, into the view area we have to work, right? So into the view area, first of all that is our request. So after that request here I want to take one of the variable, whatever you want. So right now I take one of the variable as a about data. Okay, I take one of the variable, and into the variable area I want to actually get all that our object data. That means our table name I have already imported as a about. So I just simply added that about, right? And then all that our objects data. So here you have to add that as objects. So all that objects data I want to take, so I just simply added as a objects all the data. That means whatever the data in our this particular object area, I want to get all the data. So now I get all the data and take that data in our this variable. That means that is our about data variable. Okay, so now after that we have to actually pass the data. So if you want to pass it, you have to pass it with the context. That means one of the dictionaries. So I just take one of the context. Okay, I just name it as a context one of the variable, and here I just simply added the dictionary. So into the dictionary area, as I told you, it's actually pass two of this parameter. One is the key, so I just name one of the name as a key as a about, and also that will be our value. So our value will be our all the data. I get the things with this variable. So now I just simply paste it on here. Okay friend, I hope it's very much clear to you. So now I just get all that our data, and now I want to do I take the things with this variable as a context. So now I just simply pass this data in our index.html. So here I just simply pass it. Right friend, I hope everything is very much clear to you. So now we can get all the data. Now we can actually show our data in our index.html page. So now let's do that work. That means that is our template. Into the template, that is our index.html, right? So into the index.html here, after that about, that is actually our title. Here I want to display that our description, and here I want to display one of the image, right? So first of all, I want to display our title. So if you want to display that title, that is in our about us. So you can see that is actually our about us, and then that is actually our title. So here I want to display it. So for now I just simply remove it, and here if you want to display it, so here you have to do so from here we have to show our this, actually that is actually our key. So with this key we can actually display it. So now I just simply added that key. And here one things, as I told you before, into the context area by default this one, that means right now they have the one data. If you go to our about, there is a 1. So 1 is, that means the 0 index, right? So as I told you, in PHP we call it as a array, but in Django it's called it as a list, right? So in the list actually started from to the 0 index. So that is actually our 0 index data, right? So if you insert any other data, then it will be as a 1 index data. So right now they have only one data, so that will be as a 0 index data. So for now I want to actually show our this 0 index, this title, right? So now you can actually display it. So that will be our about. Into the about area, that will be as a 0 index data, and into the 0 index data area I want to display our field name. If you go to our model, our field name I have added as a title. So now I just simply display that title. Okay friend, so now if you click as a save all, and first of all I want to check it, server is perfectly running or not. Yeah, you can see it's perfectly now running. So now I want to actually refresh it. So now here is showing some of the error as a function object has attribute objects. Okay, so that is our about. So here actually is getting some of the error. So let's check this out. So that is our about. Here you can see friend, our this method name and our this model name actually the same. For the reasons actually is getting this error. So better I want to actually change our this method name. So I just name it as a about us, and here I also want to update it as a contact us. Okay, so now it will be work perfectly. So that will be our method, and so for two of this method here also we have to update it in our URL. Like here if you go to our index, into the index, that is our URL. So into the URL you can see that is actually also here we have to update. So that will be as a about us. So I just simply updated about us, and then another will be as a contact us. Okay, so I just simply update it. That means in our view that is actually our method, and that is our name will be the same. Perfect. So I hope you can well understand about it friend, actually why actually is getting that error, because of all our class model name and our method name actually the same. So for the reasons it actually creates some of the conflict. So now you can see server is totally running, and now if you refresh it, so now here you can see it's now perfectly visible. So if you want to change it, then it should be better. Like here I may name it as a easy learning. Okay, I just name it as easy learn. Okay, I just name it as easy learn. Now click as a save. Now it's successfully updated, and now if you refresh it, Yeah, you can see it's now perfectly updated. That means this data actually comes from our this database table, right? So you successfully get the title. So now it's perfectly visible. And also here, if you want to change the trick, like here, I get all that our data, and also in our index area, I just simply added our 0 index data, right? So if you want to change it, you can also change it like here in our view. That means here, if you want to add that your index, like that will be our first index data I want to get. Okay, so I just simply added our first index data on here. So that means the 0 index. So into the 0 index, when you add it on here, then in particular that position you need to add anything. So into the about area, so with this about, I want to display our database table field as a title. So now our result will be the just like that same. If you now refresh it, now you can see our result is just like that same, right friend? I hope you can well understand about it. So also after that, that means here I want to display our description field. So now go to, that is actually our p tag, and that is our ul and the p, this one. So right now we don't need this. I just simply remove our p and the ul. So that will be our description field area. So it will be just like that same. So here better I just simply copy it, I just simply paste it. So with this about, right, so I just pass all that our data, that is our key. So with this key I want to display our database field. Our database field is for the description, that is our description, right? So now here I want to display that description. So now if you click as a save all, and now if you refresh it, yes, you can see friend, now it's perfectly visible our total description, right? So here laterally I will also show you how can actually display different type of context data on here. So right now our perfectly it is now visible, and here I want to visible our image. So I have also one of the image, so that is actually our image, right? So I successfully display our title, our description is perfectly now dynamic, and now I want to update our image. So if you want to display it, first of all, here you have to go to our particular that position. That means that is actually our file location. Here I want to display it, right? So here we don't need to use that h3 tag. So better I just simply remove that h3 tag. And here in particular that area, first of all, if you want to display that image, you have to add that image tag, right? So I just simply added that image tag. And into the image tag area, so here I want to do with this about. So with this about, I want to display our database field name as the image. So now I just simply added that image, and also here we have to update that URL. That means in particular that area, that will be our about, and then our field name, and then here after that we have to use that URL. Okay, that means this image URL. So I just simply add it. And also here I want to put some of the style for our this image height and wide. So better here, okay, here I want to add one of this style. I just simply added one of this style, and into the style area, like it should be as a height. So I just put one of the height will be as a 200 pixel. Okay, and then also I want to display our wide. So wide I want to set for this image as a whatever you want. So I make the things as a 400 pixel. Okay, so I just simply added one of the style, and I just put some of the height and wide for our this specific image. Now let's check this out. If you now click as a save all, so now if you refresh it, yes, you can see friend, now it successfully display our image. So that is actually our image. If you go here, you can see that is actually our image, right? So this image is now perfectly visible. Now our title is totally dynamic. It also comes from our database, and that is our description. So if you want to change anything into the description area, if you want to change anything, if you want to update your title, and if you click as a save, refresh it, yeah, you can see everything is now totally dynamic, and everything is now successfully updated. So I hope friend it's very much clear to you. And also here make that sure I am only display our 0 index data, because of all they have only one data, right? They have only one data. So if you insert any another one, like here I put some of the title, I put some of the description, but I just copy some of the description. Okay, I just simply copy some of the description, and I just choose some of the image. Right now I choose this one, click as a open. So that is actually our image, and if you now click as a save, So now you can see, friend, there is actually another one. So for this object, actually that is our another index as a 1 index. That is not the 0 index, but I added as a 0 index, right? So for the reasons here, it not should be visible. There it will be visible. I show you. Like if you now click as a refresh, now you can see it's now showing our which data. It's now showing our 0 index data, right? So as I told you, actually started, that means list is started from to the 0. So right now if you want to visible our this data, so then you have to update that list our 1 data. I show you, like here that is our 0. So now I want to do and actually update it. I make the things as a 1. Okay, I want to show our 1 index data. Now if you click as a save all, now it should be very much clear to you. Now click as a refresh. Yes, you can see, friend, now it's perfectly updated. That means that is our 1 index data. So if you want to display our 0 index data, that means it will be our first one. Click as a save all and now refresh it. Yeah, you can see it's now perfectly display our 0 index data. So as I told you, it's started from the 0. So that will be 0 index and that will be 1 index. So friend, I hope it's very much clear to you how can read all the data from your database table and how can visible it in your Frontend area. So friend, that is actually the main core things. Okay, so if you well understand about that core, then I think if you want to make that site dynamic, it will be very much easy to you. I want to actually update our this slider. I want to make these things as a dynamic. So how can do that work? In our next video, I will show you that things with a live example. So thanks for watching and I will see you in the next video.